Hi guys, back again with just a little bit of extra video. I'm going to try out this Harbor Freight welder. Got a coupon for it, so at about $100, didn't seem too bad. It's only a 90 volt, high and low settings, and wire feed control. It's using the flux wire approach. I've got a decent sized 220 amp stick welder, which does for really heavy jobs, and apart from that I've got gas, just small oxyacetylene bottles, most useful for brazing and silver soldering, but occasionally do some steel welding with that. Some time ago I did a review of this jig that I made a long time ago. I'm just going to use that to butt up a couple of pieces of I think it's 18 gauge, I forget now, I'll have to check, but there's just a very slight chamfer on each end, so there's a small V, so we're going to see what we can do with this. First time of trying, maybe a disaster. I have to get used to the speed of wire feed. Just to show the layout on here, just to point out, that's the feed speed, power on, and it's only got max min, so 90 amps is the max, and the min, I don't know, is about 60, I suppose. I can't remember offhand. And then to the feed head. So here's the feed head, pretty conventional. This is using 030 wire at the moment, but I shall switch to 035 when this initial lot runs out. Alright, we're going to give this a try. The speed of the wire feed is the critical thing. I just did a test piece and I think it's running slower than it is suggested, so we're going to try this. I'm very used to stick welding and flame, but it's a long time since I've used a wire. Let's see. Not too many things in the way here. A bit of burn through there at the end. Oh, it's way too hot in here. One of the problems, plenty of spatter. I don't know whether you can see that. Probably. Hardly enough to be proud of. Well, that last effort was pretty useless. So what we'll try, it's going to take some practice on this. The wire fed one I had many years ago was gas shielded. This is flux wire, so it's quite a lot of spatter. I think the thing is here is to try and get a little tack at the beginning and end. Awkward angle here. Good eyesight and steady hand would help. Let's see what we can do. Not very accurate actually, I can't see what I'm doing. Oops, missed. Okay, let's see. Oh, I tell you what guys, it's too hot in here. Getting up to near 90 I think. Well, it's pretty ugly. But yeah, a bit more practice. I definitely think the answer is to have a little tack at each end. Let's just try one more. Let's have another try here. I got a bit more of a V groove on this one, but again, an unsteady hand and too hot, and the wrong glasses doesn't really help. But we've got a couple of tacks, and the problem is following a straight line. That was messy. Let's cut that off. Get a blob on the end of the wire, it doesn't help. Maybe a little bit too fast on the wire feed. Alright, let's see what we got. That was a bit slower on the wire feed. God darn, it's hot. 90 degrees. Well, there's a lot of spatter. But I think it's a bit better. Very lumpy. Let's pull out a bit. Yes, it's very lumpy. Penetration's a little bit one-sided by the look of it. It's very hard to follow the line. Very hard to follow the line, but that is slightly better. If I got the wire feed a bit better and progress speed a bit better. So there we are. Just an example of testing out a cheap and cheerful Harbor Freight welder. As I said, the flux wire system is not so good for spattering. I remember the old days of shielded gas work, made life a lot easier. Anyway, this old man's got to practice a bit more, so we'll see what happens. I'll just show you a little bit about the next possible project. I want to make a power hacksaw, but that'll be for a little while ahead, I think. Anyway, thanks for watching this section. By the way, this is a possible project for later when it's not as darned hot and I can stand a bit longer. A small power hacksaw. You can find a short review of it on YouTube. Of course, the thing I needed most and first was a motor. And this motor, although it looks pretty beat up, it was a fan motor for a hot air heating system, and it had sat out in the old casing framework of the thing, out in the open, but covered from the rain. And although it's pretty messy, I did some tests on it and I've had it running. It's running at 1750, I think it is, half-inch shaft, so there's going to have to be some considerable gearing involved, so we'll see what happens with that at a future time.